Yeah, I'm looking at United Airlines right now on the chart, and it definitely looks like really bearish to me just purely from technicals. I
I'm just
mean, if you
looking
draw
at
that
it.
up, and like Brendan said, we kind of bounce off the 200. Like I would have been like, this thing's bearish to me at this point unless it reclaims 52. Like if it gets right up over 52 and holds that, which is probably going to be right around where the 50-day moving average is once it gets there, that's when I would, maybe consider flipping. But as far as the way I'm seeing it right now, like, I mean, if it pops up a little higher, even if it got towards like 50 and a half or like 51, that could still be somewhere that I would add short if I was playing this, to be honest. Like right now, the way it's looking, I think we're coming down to $40. If that breaks, we'll come down to, 32.50. And if that breaks, we could go right back down to the lows around $20. So it'll just depend kind of how the delta string goes out. I think that's a big factor on that, but those are definitely the support levels right now.
How
And
about
what are you making
the
of
banks?
Goldman?
Yeah.
GS.
Sorry?
What are you making of Goldman? GS.
GS? Think like that.
Oh, can you mind clicking share screen on the Google so take a look too? I had
Oh,
mine shared, that's why.
oh, you got yours up?
No, I had mine up, so I was blocking you. But if you could share yours now, like it'll be pretty cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Give me 1
But
second.
I was gonna say, like to Brendan's point, I think the airline and the bank are kind of nice bellwethers for the market, right? You have the financials and you have travel, so it's a nice sentiment indicator.
So
Right.
they're a really nice bellwether. I would also add the energy names. I'd add maybe a name like ExxonMobil in that. And if we want to have more of a Canadian spin, we could obviously look at the XEG, which is the TSX Cap Energy Index in Canada. And just anything like that, an industrial, an airline, material names. We can look at copper. But yeah, GS, and if you want to pop up something energy.
Yeah, so if we look at what we're looking at, United Airlines, I'll show you guys that one again here.
Cool.
Yeah, so if we look at United Airlines, like I just drew this line in at the bottom here. This is usually kind of the way that I look at stuff. I mean, you have a big tank like this. Obviously, that was 2020. This is just on the daily line chart. So this is a really nice clean uptrend line right there, all the way across. And then this is really nice too when you get like this kind of base right here. If you look at that, like you have this horizontal line right here where it kind of got over, it broke these two highs, got over this, and it bounced off it, quite a few times before it finally broke back under. And where it broke back under correlated pretty close to that uptrend line. So to me, like that becomes like a huge area of interest right now. So like if I was shorting this, like I'd be looking, well, like first of all, I would short this based on this pattern. And like, even the 200-day moving average, despite that, like even if it popped back up kind of into this area, like to me that would be somewhere that I would add. And I wouldn't be covering this thing until it got pretty much back over this like 52, 53 area. Like right at this little base here. This is kind of like, I look at this kind of like as the last defense before it really broke down. Right now that's kind of 52. So that would be my main area. So I'd look right over this peak would be kind of my risk. So unless we got over this 52, 53 area and like held strong with volume, to me this thing's coming down.
And let's pull up the bank too. Was it the Goldman you said?
Yeah, Goldman Sachs, just really quickly. I mean, I will tell you before we look at it that I've been watching a head and shoulders pattern form on Goldman, and it's just trying to make some new highs, but it's just failing every time. Like this thing is running out of steam.
Yeah, I mean, even just at first glance, you can see it kind of starting to round over a little bit, right? So, yeah, like where are we looking at here? Yeah, same kind of thing there, right? Like if you draw your line in like that, I like that one myself, but it comes up and then again, same sort of thing right here, right? Like if you combine your horizontal, your horizontal breakout level right there. So we hit it a couple times on the top, broke through, and we kind of have a similar sort of thing on United Airlines, bounced off that level, like right again where these two lines intersect, and then it broke down through, right? So that becomes, that becomes a little bit of a bearish sign to me. And now you can see like this one's it's a little bit stronger than the American Airlines or the United Airlines, but same thing that I was talking about on the other one. I'm looking over this little top here, that little last defense area, and this is basically the same sort of thing. It's topped right out at that level, so it hasn't been able to reclaim with volume. So this is where, like me personally, I'd be reshorting this and just taking profits. And if it got up there again, I'd reshort it again and then take more profits. And then until that level actually reclaims and holds, like it's just going to remain a short for me.
It looks like there's a little bearish divergence on the last two peaks too on the RSI.
I would not be surprised.
It looks like it looked like maybe end of June to mid July. There's 2 peaks there, and then so there we made 2 slightly higher highs on the price, but lower lows, slightly lower lows on the RSI. Oh, sorry, my mic is losing sound here. Yeah, so it's like losing. Yeah, I think it's late June. That was like the 2 previous peaks, so late June and mid July.
These two guys?
Yeah, those 2 right there. Yeah, so that one and
Yeah.
the following one's lower. So then, but
Oh, yeah.
we got slightly higher price action. So there's a little bit of losing momentum there.
Yeah, these ones are going up just slightly.
Yeah, yeah.
And then these ones are going down. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, that'll probably end up. That looks a little bit bearish as well, and then maybe it'll come all the way back down to the 200, right? Who knows?
So the interesting thing about this, if we can just put this all into perspective for our viewers here, is that we are looking at cyclical sectors, sectors that typically lead the market higher during periods of really solid economic growth. And if we can just pop up the S&P, Kalen, which is just SPX index, it's interesting because we're like 13.5% stretched above our 50-week, which is the exact amount that we were above in September of 2020 when we had that first volatility event. It was the exact amount we were up in January of 2018 before that volatility event due to the China trade wars. So 13.5%, 14%, we're getting to that level where we're stretched above our moving averages. We're being led by less and less names. I think you want to be with quality here. You want to stick with the non-cyclicals, as we've been advocating on this show since I came on in like late March. And you don't want to be in these sectors that are at risk, especially with all of the potential risks facing the markets right now. I mean, there's a ton, but there's also names that really stand to benefit. Names like we were listing last time, like the Facebooks, the Amazons, the Microsofts. So that's definitely one thing to watch.